Professor, for sharing that insight with us. Please stay with us as we come back to you. Now, moving on, a man was shot early in the morning on February 22nd after attempting to breach the secure perimeter at Mar-a-Lago President Donald Trump's private resort in Palm Beach, Florida. The incident has occurred around 6:30 a.m. GMT when law enforcement officers confronted the armed suspect, who was then carrying a shotgun and a gasoline canister. Despite being ordered to drop the items, the suspect raised the shotgun, prompting officers to open fire. However, no law enforcement personnel were injured during this incident. President Trump was not at the resort at the time. The FBI has taken over the investigation to determine the suspect's motive and gather more details about the event. Let's listen in.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Skiles. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for the FBI's Miami Field Office. First of all, I'd like to thank the Secret Service and Palm Beach Sheriff's Office for their quick response in this matter and close collaboration. Since this area of the shooting was under Secret Service protection at the time, the FBI is assisting the investigation. Currently, our evidence response team is processing the scene, collecting evidence, and we'll continue to work the scene for as long as it takes. One thing I would ask the public is, if you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night, early this morning. If you see anything that looks suspicious or out of place, please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact the West Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Now we welcome back Professor David K. Johnston. He joins us live from US. Thank you very much, Professor Johnston, for staying with us. Now, why did this man go when President Trump wasn't there? Do we know anything more about this incident?
At this point, Asuma, we don't know whether he was a mental case, whether he was just badly informed. In fact, we don't literally know if he raised the shotgun or he had gasoline in the gasoline can, though from the point of view of an officer facing him, that's a more than reasonable assumption. One of the most troubling aspects of this is that prior to the Trump administration, I would take pretty much at their word FBI and local police announcements about incidents like this, and I've covered many, many police shootings, shown in some cases terrible behavior by the police and in others heroic behavior. But unfortunately, the Trump administration has no regard for the truth. They have repeatedly issued statements that were totally contradicted by video, coroner's reports, etc. So it's going to be a while till we find out exactly what happened here. But if in fact this gentleman raised his shotgun, even if it's empty, then yes, you would expect law enforcement officers would respond. The appropriate way to respond is you fire 1 or 2 shots and assess, and that's apparently what happened here. It's not like the murder of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, where 10 rounds were fired into him in a matter of a couple of seconds. It appears that in the actual shooting, protocol was followed for what's called pistol combat, and I've taken pistol combat training and gotten an almost perfect score when I did it.
With that, I'd like to thank Professor David K. Johnston for joining us today and sharing that insight with us throughout our news. Thank you very much.